Hey guys, Will here with another video. Today, I was in a samurai-esque mood, so we're going to do a Ghost of Tsushima review, because Ghost of Yotei is not on Steam yet. A little backstory. In Ghost, we play as Jin Sakai, a samurai of Tsushima and nephew to Lord Shimura, the ruler of the island. At the beginning of the game, alongside all the samurai of Tsushima, we try to repel a Mongol invasion, but it failed. As a result, our uncle is captured, all the samurai are dead, and we are saved by a thief named Yuna. Upon waking up, we immediately try to rescue Lord Shimura and storm Kande Castle where he's being held. Of course, being an honorable samurai, we rush in alone, and this ends as well as you think. After getting yeeted off the bridge by the Khan himself, we regroup with Yuna and decide we need allies before we try to storm the castle again. And now the game truly begins. Now, this is the part of the story where I made a mistake. You're given three choices: meet up with Yuna, help rescue her brother from the Mongols, find allies like Ishikawa Sensei or Lady Masako, or free roam. I chose to help Yuna rescue her brother, but this was probably the biggest mistake I made, because in our very first mission, you betray your uncle's teachings and kill someone in a dishonorable way. Now, you might be thinking, Will, who cares? It's part of the story. You're gonna do it anyways. And it makes the game easier. It has a whole bunch of stealth and stuff. But while this is true, my dear viewer, doing this scene so early takes away from the emotion and weight of the decision. You've been an honorable samurai your whole life, but just like that, you throw it all away? It just affects how you think about it. When I did it, I felt like, oh, the game's just gonna go let me assassinate people now. Okay. Instead of, damn, I'm betraying my samurai honor. My uncle would be very disappointed with me. I might have made a mistake. Now, you do as you please. Freedom of choice. But I feel this is one of, if not the most impactful scene in Act 1. So if you want the full weight of it, hold off on Yuna's quest, do it last. Alright, fast forwarding a little bit, we link up with Ishikawa Sensei and Lady Masako, both of whom are going through their own problems right now. Ishikawa Sensei is trying to kill a former student of his who attacked them. Lady Masako is searching for the people who massacred her family. Now, these stories might sound interesting. In my opinion, they're kind of terrible. All of Ishikawa's missions up until the third act and with us just barely missing a student and them getting away. They felt so repetitive, so boring. I don't even remember a single one of his missions. Lady Masako's missions are the exact same, except she's the problem. She's hindering our investigation into her own family's murder by killing every single person who knows who's behind the murder. These are only side quests and unimportant in the main story, so I don't want to get too into them here. But let me know in the comments if you want to know my hot takes on those quests, because I think they're pretty bad. Getting back to the story, after getting Ishikawa and Masako's help, we run into our old friend Ryuzo, who is now the leader of a mercenary group called the Straw Hats. We also secure his help to raid the castle in exchange for food and supplies for his men. After that, we meet up with Yuna and her brother Taka, who we freed already. He's a blacksmith and created a grappling hook for us so we can sneak into the castle. Now, you might be thinking, Will, sneaking in a castle doesn't sound very samurai-like. And that's because it's not. As we go through the first act, we slowly see Jin losing his samurai way. We sneak attack Mongols, kill their commanders in their sleep, use a bunch of new tricks like kunais and smoke bombs. All this feeds the stories that Yuna is spreading of a vengeful spirit who goes after all those that bring war to Tsushima. The legend of the ghost is created and spreads, mainly because of Yuna, who can't keep her damn mouth shut. As you can tell, I don't like Yuna. Anyways, our little group meets outside the castle and prepares to sneak in, but Ryuzu and his straw hats are missing, so we go in without them. We make it through the castle pretty easily with all the help, but when we go on our own to sneak around the locked gate, we find Ryuzu waiting for us. He explains he sided with the Khan and was there to kill us. And, to be honest, good betrayal. Didn't see this one coming at all. But, still doesn't save Ryuzu's character for me. We fight him and win, but Ryuzu escapes. We continue through the castle before finally making it to the top where we find and rescue our uncle. And now, together, we can face the Khan.
まだだ。ハーンは豊玉に狙いをつけ北へと向かった。
At the beginning of Act 2, we meet with our uncle and talk about the ghosts. Although Lord Ara, Shimura is an honorable samurai, he understands that we did what we needed to do to free him and forgives us for that. But now he asks that we stop all this ghost business and follow the ways of the samurai once again. And this was a really good moment. Up until Jin ignores everything he says and asks about Yuna.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Our uncle also meets Yuna and they immediately have beef, almost like he knows who's been creating the ghost. Even still, he promises a safe passage to the mainland if she helps him retake his castle, which Yuna, of course, is pissed about. As the journey continues, we help our uncle get a messenger through the Mongol blockade to ask the shogun for reinforcements, meet up with Yuna to convince the Yarikawa clan to join us, and we go to our ancestral home to reclaim our family armor. These missions are great and everything, but there's one scene that stands out to me more than anything in this act. When we go to reclaim Jin's family armor, we meet his old maid, and we learn that she knows a lot about plants and flowers. And then Jin says this.
堺の者は毒など使いません。
猛虎と戦った堺がいようか。使える手立ては使わねば、これ以上の犠牲は払えぬ。
猛虎が若様を変えたのですね。
この世が変わったのだ。
Okay, pause. This was a red flag. From as far as I can recall, no one told us about it, no one gave us the idea for it, no one even mentioned poison. This was an idea Jin came up with completely on his own. His mate even tried to dissuade him, but he insisted on having the darts. Now, this is the moment, I believe, that Jin stopped being a samurai and fully became the ghost, even if he himself doesn't know it yet. Now, I like this scene. But I feel like the blow darts and the poison are a bit too out of left field. Like a month ago, Honorable Samurai. Now, bro's shooting poison darts at people. Must be this Yuna. She's a bad influence. Anyways, after more allies and samurai reinforcements arrive, we're ready to storm Shimura Castle. Shimura? Shimura Castle. But our uncle tells us of a Mongol camp where he believes Ryuzu is. We ask Yuna to help us with this, but she refuses because she's a bitch. But just outside the camp, the goat, Taka, sneaks up on us and wants to help. We hesitantly agree, and Taka draws out the guards while we sneak in. Once again, we confront Ryuzu, but before we could whoop his ass, one of the straw hats sneaks up on us and knocks us out. We wake up tied to a pole with Taka across from us, but before we break free, the Khan himself shows up. Like with our uncle, he tries to convince us to join him, but we refuse. Not surprised, the Khan cuts Taka free and orders us to kill him in exchange for his own freedom. Taka doesn't run. Taka doesn't kill us. Instead, the goat goes down swinging on the Khan. Our first tragic loss. Fly high, Taka. Anyways, the Khan leaves us and we break free before Yuna arrives and sees her dead brother. And together we slaughter the Mongol garrison. An actually good Yuna moment. Finally, we meet up with our army and storm the castle. But this time, no sneaking around. We rush in headfirst and make it far before our uncle asks us to scout ahead, which we do, and we sneak attack a Mongol commander, cutting off his head from behind. The only problem was all the other samurais saw us do this. Now, our uncle does scold us for this, but mostly lets it go, probably because we're in the middle of a battle. Now, I do feel like this was a mistake on Jin's part. He probably should have read the room better, realized how the other samurai would have reacted to this, especially his own uncle, but he didn't. We continue through the battlefield before just making it outside the castle gates, before the Mongols blew up the bridge that led there. We stopped the attack for the night as the bridge is repaired, But our uncle wants to storm the bridge again, which is a death trap. But we want to sneak around and poison the Mongol garrison. But Unk is pissed when he hears this. Real talk though, this is probably one of the best scenes in the game because they're both right in their own ways. Jin wants to save as many lives as possible, and poisoning the Mongols is the best way to do that. Lord Shimura wants to win the war, but not at the cost of his own principles and beliefs and the beliefs of their society. And if they do poison the Mongols, guess what? He's right, they will be no better than the Mongols. Anyways, later that night, we go and poison the Mongols. As the Mongols die all around us, we rush to confront the Khan, but guess who we find instead? Ryuzu. He tries to spit some shit about how he wants to switch sides again because all his men died, but we ain't hearing none of it. We fight his ass, we kick his ass, and we move on. Cause fuck Ryuzu. As we leave the castle, our uncle and our forces arrive and see what we have done. He condemns us, yet begs us to blame it all on Yuna, so he doesn't have to kill us. And, to be fair, valid. But Jin refuses and gives his sword to Yuna, and we're arrested. A few days pass in jail before we break out with the help of our friends, but as we escape, our loyal horse, Kage, is shot full of arrows and is killed. The unspoken goat who has been with us the whole game, Kage, the best character in the entire game, for he was more than a horse, he was a friend. The only one we ever had in this game. We called, he appeared without question, no matter the time or the place. This is the most tragic and devastating loss of the entire game. Fly high, buddy. Once we make it north, we link up with Yuna again and learn the Mongols recreated our poison. Now, besides tying up a few of the side stories, this act doesn't contain much, so we'll skip to the end. We learn that the Khan is preparing to leave for mainland Japan with my poisons, so we attack the port he's at with our remaining allies to try and stop him. At the last minute, our uncle arrives with reinforcements and helps the attack while we 1v1 the Khan. Now, for our main villain, I haven't talked about the Khan much because there isn't much to say. I'm saving most of it for the character rankings, but I have to say this. This fight, the first time around, was so easy, yet when I try to refight him after beating the game, he was cooking me. Like, it was insane. Like, I don't know how I beat him so easily the first time, but I did. Anyways, I digress. We kicked his ass and stopped the invasion. Game over. Or is it? After the battle, we receive a message from our uncle saying he wants to talk at our hometown. We, of course, go because we want to squash our beef and be a family again. We spent the day reminiscing about the past, walking around town, all until we arrive at Jin's parents' grave. There, our uncle tells us the shogun has called for the ghost's head and challenges us to a duel. As our last act as samurai, we accept, and an emotional duel takes place, leaving us with one final decision. And so, the legend of the ghost comes to a close. Although there's a decent amount of characters in the game, I'm only going to be talking about 9 of them since most others are not that important and didn't really stand out to me. And instead of talking about each character for 20 minutes, I decided on a better, more clearer way to rank the characters: a tier list. First up, Jin Sakai. I'll have to give him an S tier. His character and arc were amazing, although barely talked about through words. We saw his internal battle between being an honorable samurai that would make his uncle proud and being the man Tsushima needed him to be to save it. Seeing Jin realize through his story that he truly did die that night on the beach and the man that survived was not the same was some of the best writing I've seen in a while. And I just rewatched Bleach. He grew to question this definition of honor his uncle taught him and realized that saving people's lives were more important to him. Even still, I have one complaint, and it isn't even Jin's fault. But we'll save that for later, since it has something to do with our next character. Yuna. D tier. I would make an F tier, but I just can't justify it to myself. Yuna is a terrible person. She sucks. She's the one who created the Legend of the Ghost against Jin's approval, the actual ghost. She continued to manipulate Jin into believing the ghost was the best and necessary way to save Tsushima, and push him to do some brutal things. In late one of her quests, she manipulates him into assassinating 3 people and then cutting off their heads and putting them on stakes so the Mongols can see. What the fuck? But besides manipulating Jin to do all that dark ghost shit, she was just a bad person before she met us. She abandoned one of her friends to slave traders, and she quite literally got her brother Taka raped when they were children. That happened. She admitted it. Play the clip. And for everyone saying she couldn't do anything, she was a child. She literally says she had the opportunity to kill the guy and save Taka. You know what? Fuck it. F tier for Yuna. But my biggest problem with her is this weird sexual tension between her and Jin. Like, I'm so happy the devs didn't develop the storyline because this bitch is literally manipulating him, but he doesn't see it. Fuck Yuna. Up next, we got Taka, the complete opposite of Yuna. Taka is S tier. Although I do feel like Taka is just an extension of Yuna, he's just better. He built us as a grappling hook in the first act, wasn't a warrior, but still tried to help us with the Mongols in the second act. Even when he knew it was over for him, instead of running for his life, he swung on the Khan on sight and died with honor. Goated. Nothing more to say. Now we get to Lord Shimura. Unk's getting an easy S tier. Now, alone, I admit that Lord Shimura probably isn't S tier, but his connection with Jin is what sets him apart. Every scene and mission they share is full of emotion, and he has his own internal battle that mirrors Jin, struggling between following a strict code of honor, but also wanting to keep his connection to his nephew who is going down a bad path. In the end, it accumulates in one of the best final battles of any game, so you already know he has to be S tier. Now, we reach the main villain of the story, the Khan. For a main villain, he's going in A tier. First of all, I'm gonna keep calling him the Khan because I can't pronounce his name. Second of all, hear me out. The Khan wasn't that bad of a guy. I never got the real sinister vibe from him. He did do bad things like kill Taka, burn people alive, and poison people. Hold up, maybe he is a bad guy. Okay, but he wasn't an S tier villain. He's no Aizen. He's not Darth Vader. He's not even Denzel Washington's character from Training Day. He's just okay. He does have a few good scenes, like his first appearance, throwing us off the bridge, and Taka's death, but that's only getting him to A tier, not higher. Final person we're given in-depth ranking is Ryuzu. I have to put him B tier. Now he's a cool character at the beginning, and I low-key did not see his betrayal coming, but at the same time, that was some dumbass reasoning. Like, my men are hungry, so I'll side with the enemy, even though you just promised me food and supplies? But if that wasn't enough, Jin gave him the chance to switch sides after he first lost to him, and he didn't take it. Bro ran away. Now, this isn't to say I don't think Ryuzu shouldn't have switched sides, but I feel like the devs could have given him a better reason, like he resented Jin for costing him a chance at being a samurai, or if he didn't like Lord Shimura, or maybe the Khan offered to make him Lord of the Island. This initial reasoning also made his reasoning for switching back to our side dumb too. My men are all dead. I want to join you guys now. Like, come on, bruh. Okay, these next characters are minor characters, so we'll do them quick fire. Kenji, S tier. Funny side character, you had honor and try to be better. Goated. Ishikawa Sensei, A tier. Good side character. His side quest started off interesting, but I didn't like how it ended. And he annoyed me a bit because he called Jin out on his bullshit. Lady Masako, B tier. Her story should have been more interesting than Ishikawa's, but it really wasn't, and ended worse than his. Finally, we're going to talk about the actual gameplay, because this is a game, remember? I like the gameplay because it's a mix of old school Assassin's Creed and Sekiro. Stuff like the shrine parkour and the attack combos remind me when I played old school Assassin's Creeds like Brotherhood or Black Flag. But on the other hand, the pairing systems and skill trees made me feel like I was playing Sekiro again. Yes, trees, because there are three of them. I personally like the technique tree the best because it allowed me to deal with the widest variety of enemies, but I can also see how people would say the other two are better, especially the ghost since it gives you the best abilities like smoke bombs and kunais. My most favorite thing has to be the 1v1 boss fights. When you fight random enemies out in the open, you feel a bit overpowered due to all your ghost tools and all your abilities, but in these fights, it's straight up hands. No bows, no ghost tools, only your technique and your stances. You literally have to be a better swordsman in order to win, which I love. Besides the gameplay mechanics, I just have to mention this game is cinematic everywhere you are. The devs spent so much time making the game look beautiful, and it shows. Just walking through a random forest feels like you're walking through the beginning of a Japanese movie. Of course, this game is great, but it's not perfect. Otherwise, the video wouldn't have been titled Playing the Best Game in the World instead of Ghost of Tsushima review. And my greatest complaint has to be the dogs. The devs are some sick, malicious bastards for making the hostile dogs literally the fluffiest things in existence. I don't know if this is historically accurate, and I don't care. And the worst part is, they make a sad whimper every time you kill one. Okay, now that I got that off my chest, I don't really have any valid complaints, just some critiques. First of all, the decisions they give us were few and far between and didn't impact the story much. Like, I can name 3 times where they kind of allowed us to make a choice to change the game, like allowing Ryuzu to join our side again, letting us kill Masako for attacking us in her side quests, or just sparing the guy who killed our father. I feel like they had a great chance to make this game even better, but at the same time, this just isn't that type of game. This isn't like Elden Ring or Sekiro. It's not a decision making game. Ghost of Tsushima is a story of Jin Sakai, and having multiple paths that lead to different ends isn't what they were going for. So I understand why they limited the choice to dialogue and small stuff like that, but I just wish they didn't. My second critique has nothing to do with the main story, but instead the DLC from the director's cut, Iki Island. We're able to access this place at the start of Act 2, and it's an island not controlled by a samurai, but instead by some raiders. And Jin has a history with this island. He came before when he was younger with his father, who led an invasion of the island to get control. The invasion failed, and Jin watched as his dad died in front of him. Now we're back because some Mongol witch is trying to take control of it, and we team up with the same islanders who killed our father to defeat her. Now, I don't like this place. I don't like this island. I didn't like this whole thing of the witch being in our head. I didn't like the new purple enemies that change weapons and stances like crazy. But most of all, I hated the fucking shamans. Enemies that buff their allies, giving them unlimited stamina with unblockable attacks. The island itself felt empty with little to do, and it wasn't as cleanly developed as mainland Tsushima, which I get because it's a DLC, but like still. This is not to say the island didn't have anything good. It had the cat and deer sanctuaries, which I really liked, expanded on the relationship between Jin and his parents, and most importantly, deepened the bond between us and our horse by giving him sick ass drip.
Wrist so icy, wonder why she like me, bitch. I'm drowning in water. I just bought a cube and dipped it in a fountain. Everywhere that I go, it's a light show. I'm surrounded. Bust down, bust down, bust down, bust down, bust down, bitch. I'm drowning.
Besides all that stuff, I like the little story arc of how Jin interacted with his father's killer and forgave him in the end, along with himself for his father's death. Yet, for me, those good things don't outweigh the bad, in my opinion. This DLC was okay, but compared to the rest of the game, it wasn't that good. The event we all been waiting for. My final rating of the game. Of course, is a 10 out of 10. Would I say it's my favorite game? No. I named like 3 better than it. Is it a really good game? Of course. Do I recommend it? You like story games, Japan, or just parry systems? Then yeah. Unless you're brain dead from watching all those TikToks and YouTube shorts, then you will like this game because it is a good game. But that's all I have to say about it. See you guys when Ghost of Yotei comes to Steam or when the next video comes out, whichever comes first.
No. No. I didn't want to do this. No! I don't know. I can't kill him. I can't kill him. No, I don't want to kill him. I don't want to kill him. No, don't make me. Don't make me. No, I don't want to.
Sammy, you're not gonna survive in Detroit, let me tell you.
I don't want to kill him. No, no, don't give me this choice. I don't want to kill him. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. I don't know. I can't kill him. He's my OG son. He's been there.
I was gonna say you could
He
leave the
wanted
game, you're
this.
saved.
He wanted this, Sammy. He chose to fight you.
Oh, I know what I gotta do. I can't do it. I don't have the strength. No.
You want me to come over and press the button for you?
Yeah.